It is 3 a.m. Your sibling is up playing video games, and all you can hear is the popping of a gun and the shouting, "Get him! Get him!" As time passes, video games have become more popular in the younger generation, and some people fear that this has led to more violence in teenagers. This has led many parents to keep their children from playing video games to keep them from becoming too violent. Some of these games are Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, and Assassin's Creed. My name is Cassidy Wilsey. I'm here to talk to you about how the violence in media affects teenagers in society. I have conducted research over this topic so I can give you the maximum amount of information needed to understand why violence affects everyone. My topic for my informative speech is how the violence in media affects people and others around them. Let's move on to my first point. Ever since the shooting in the movie theater in the Colorado Theater, scientists have been researching why violent video games have been affecting and causing the aggression in humans. Scientists have been studying how violence in video games and other media since the 1980s, and these studies have become more important as video games have become more realistic with violence and popular in the younger generation. American boys tend to play more of these violent games than most girls, so the girls are less likely to become more violent after playing these games. One economist from University of Texas at Arlington, Michael Ward, said, "I don't know that a psychological study can ever answer that question definitely, and we are left to glean what we can from the data and research of video game use that we have." From Carrie Benedict, page 1. After discussing my first point, let's move on to my second point. Recent studies have shown that the increase of violence in movies has led to the increase in aggravated assault and murder in America. Over the past 50 years, violence has increased in movies, and it has been depicted in many of the PG-13 movies that have an increase of violence in them. Most violence occurring in these films are guns, gunfire, bad language, or even drug use. Now that I have covered my second point, let's move on to my third point. What researchers have found based on studies conducted on how violence in media affects humans. Craig Anderson from Iowa State and Brad Bushman from Ohio State are both psychologists that are conducting research on how violent media affects aggression in humans. Research on violent television, films, video games, music, and other violent media reveals unequivocal that media violence increases the likelihood of aggression and violent behavior in both intermediate and long-term contexts, said Craig Anderson and other colleagues in 2003. Ronald Bailey, page 1. Bushman and 2 other colleagues have stated that there was a broad consensus between psychologists and mass communication scientists when it involves violent media and aggression in children. Undergraduates willingly participated in a study to see how violence affected their actions after playing video games. And those students showed more aggression after playing these games by putting more hot sauce in their food. In the end, playing, watching, or listening to things with violence in them has led to an increase in violence in everyone. And this is not a good thing because it leads to unnecessary aggression in humans. The benefits of making this decision on avoiding violence are being less violent, not angry all of the time, and saving money by not buying these video games or this music. These factors that should be considered when making your decision on playing, listening, or watching less things with violence in them are possibly becoming more violent in the future, causing harm to others, or even causing a rift in your own family. The thought of watching someone else's younger sibling causing harm to anyone else since they have played, watched, or listened to violent things is a scary thought. Please do not let this happen to anyone that you know or even your own family just because they watched, played, or listened to things with violence in them. Thank you for letting me inform you today about violence. And my resources are Bailey Ronald, Video Game Violence, A Scientific Consensus Cracks, and Carrie Benedict, Shooting in the Dark.